I just wanted to begin with an anecdote that goes back a few years. It's about value. In 2004, I was running a private company in British Columbia called New Chris Minerals. It was owned by two wealthy individuals from offshore, one from Switzerland, the other from Australia. Anyway, we had developed about the best looking geochemical soil anomaly I'd ever seen in my career. That was 2014. I might have said 2004, 2014. In any event, it was super strong, but these two key shareholders in the company had spent over $2.5 million developing this prospect. And they were just fed up. They wanted out. And so through about the course of 6 months in 2014, they had me try to shop that company. Basically, we developed a great presentation. They were just keen to get out, either, joint venture the property, option it away, sell the company, just let us out. So we tried that, went to all the usual suspects, Canaccord, Haywoods, shopped it to the majors. There was zero interest. And I mean, this was a really hot prospect. Anyway, I said, you guys are nuts to just give it away. Just shut the company down and we'll come back in a couple of years when the markets come back. So that's what we did in December 2014. I worked myself out of a job. It was a private company, so shutting down was fairly easy. Anyway, almost in the meantime, I set up Evergold, and that was late in 2015. And just a few months after setting it up, early in 2016, there was a spark of light in the gold sector. There was interest again, not in base metals, but in gold. And I went back to the two shareholders and I said, things are looking brighter. Let's try to get it public. So we started an RTO process. I set the company up, everything. And the long and short of it is that over a long weekend in July 2016, 2 years after we couldn't give this asset away, we raised $2.5 million from my bedroom, basically, with people like Ross Beatty and others getting in. We even had a Russian oligarch, I presume. I didn't know half these people, but there was a flood of interest in an asset you couldn't give away. And the joke is that I used exactly the same PowerPoint presentation with the date changed. No other change, right? So I feel at the current time with a lot of these companies, including Evergold, we're kind of in the similar situation again. There's real value in some of these companies, but it's not being recognized. And Evergold, we got out the gate late in 2019. We went public in 2019. My previous company, by the way, was GT Gold. That's what New Chris gave rise to. We spent about $25–30 million, and we sold it to Newmont in 2021 for about $400 million. So it was quite a return there. And I came back to Evergold to run that, actually. Took it public late in 2019. So this year, I'm going to focus on what's new with this company because, we've had our struggles the last couple of years. I won't go into those, but we have value in particular in one of our BC properties called Golden Line. It's very substantial, and in terms of its grade and scale, it has some similarities to, I guess it's Montage, actually, to some of what they have. But it's not recognized at the current time. It's next to Thesis. What we do have that's very new is a property that's just been permitted. It's called Rockland, Nevada. It's in the Walker Lane. You've all seen the forward-looking statements, so I won't dwell on that. I've dealt with the markets being terrible, but basically we've decided to focus this year on the Rockland project because it is quite substantial, it's large, it's exciting, and you may know that the Walker Lane is an up-and-coming area. It's been hot recently because we've had some significant discoveries. Anglo Gold Ashanti with their Silicon discovery and others. There have been some mergers. A number of majors are active in this trend, including Barrick, Hecla, Anglo Gold, of course, Centerra. Where we are located here is due west of the Walker Lake, which is kind of the northern part of the trend. And what we have already drilled there, just in a very preliminary way, back in 2006, 2007, there was a discovery of a large low-grade gold zone somewhat deeper on the Rockland East part of our project. And this is what you're looking at in this image. It's a leapfrog model. It's over 800 meters long, over 300 meters wide. It carries gold and silver, and it's not expressed on surface, but it's also got the footprint, the Pathfinder footprint of your typical high-grade Nevada-style epithermal system. So we think that big blob, basically, is just the halo sitting on top of something much better. Now, the interesting thing is, I'll show you in a second here, the key discovery holes by Remarco in 2006, and there were not many of them, but they all bottomed in mineralization and bottomed in their best values, and that's what you're looking at in this slide. The top part is the drill log, and you can't see it really, but if you examine closely, it says no more pipe. All their holes, no more pipe. And they bottom in their best values. They're getting up into multiple grams. So we've done a lot of work on these holes, and you can see the temperature going up with depth and with the mineralogy. And so we're quite excited about what we have going here. And I'm just going to back up for a second here. Some of the historical intercepts that they delivered, they were quite significant. And we're not sure the true widths yet because we don't even know which way this zone is really going. But 183 meters of this 0.4 grams of gold, that's not ore grade at that depth. We're interested in what's below it. 109, 10 meters of a gram. And within it, you get much higher grades on the short intervals up to 20 grams per ton gold. So it's a really hot-looking target, and we're looking forward to actually getting the drills on. So the blob you were looking at was really resident within that blue ellipse there. That's actually where the blob is below. And what you see there are the traces of some of the drill holes by Remarco, and you can see them bottoming in it. Basically, that zone is open in all directions as it currently sits. And we've done a lot of geophysics works. To the east of it there at Target Hill, we have a whole series of anomalies that have a similar geophysical footprint to what we have at Rockland East, and we call it the Rockland East Gold Zone. There is an old mine on the west side of the property that has potential, but our real interest is here because we think it's got real scale potential. These are not just narrow, tough-to-follow, high-grade veins, but it's an entire, perhaps sediment-hosted system which is being fed by high-grade structures. This is another view of the Rockland East Gold Zone, just like on the geology. This is basically a series of coalesced rhyolite domes and various other sediments, and I'll show you a section through that on the next slide, which is this. You can examine this in more detail later, but those are some of the historical holes. Long portions of some of these holes were not even assayed, but you have that mixed bag of broad intercepts of low grade coupled with high grade, narrower intercepts. And on top of the Rockland East Gold Zone, we have a very significant Pathfinder blanket. So that's it there. Those values you're looking at are arsenic, and they run consistently up into the hundreds and low thousands above it. And again, that is typical of so many high-grade epithermal systems in Nevada. You have that footprint, that blanket, the halo above, and the alteration that's indicative of a high-grade system below. This is where it's resident, and again, that's Rockland East you're looking at, and the blob is within the big blue ellipse. As you can see, it's really great access. We can drill this property for many months of the year. We can drive right onto it, and it's got a lot of advantages compared to the work we do up in northern BC, for example, where we're really limited. Just briefly here, you can see the Walker Lane on the left side, west side of Nevada. That's where we are. Anglo Gold and all I've already talked about. Their recent acquisitions or discoveries down there. Corvus Gold was bought out by Anglo Gold last year, so it's a hot trend. And this is really the plan view of the property on the west, the Rockland mine on the east. I think I would just close out by saying here that Our focus is really this property, and I can tell you the fact that we've now got permitted for a very large program, that was just 2 weeks ago, encompassing up to 165 drill holes. It's already attracted the attention of several majors. And so we may well do a deal with one of them, try to get them in on a private placement. Our situation currently in terms of financing is weak, as it is with many of these little companies, but we've raised a lot of money before. Our shareholder base is mostly retail at the current time, but we do have a substantial insider ownership position. And the money that was used to seed this company all went in at levels well above where the stock currently is, and the stock's at like at 5 cents. We capitalized the company at 10 cents, and I last bought shares at 20 cents. So, we're committed to making the company a success, and we'll try to repeat what we did with GT with Evergold. Thanks very much.